take our Friday dump here, and we got Crane and Oh, hold on a second. They called him Tyler. I just learned his first name. Tyler got that little DST TD to ship last night. Hello, Tambo. Congratulations, my friend. You know, that's the best way to do it too. You don't think you're going to cash or you don't think you're going to win, and then some crazy shit happens. That's DFS, man.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over. Like they say, the funniest part of it all is that I actually had another lineup that I was sweating. It was a 5-way chop. It would have been a 5-way chop. It was identical to the guys at the top that everyone feels so sorry for because it's never happened to everybody else. But I had the same lineup with Gentry instead of they had Warren. And on the last drive, Pittsburgh went to Freiermuth twice for 41 yards, which would have actually put us above had it have been Gentry. And I was like, damn. Wait.
Are you telling a bad beat story at a tournament you won?
Correct. Because might as well. Everyone's going with it. Like, that's my whole point. Everyone makes fun of the bad beat, but I've had plenty of bad beats. I got the good side of it on a different lineup this time. Yeah. And another bad beat, Crane, no tournament of champions seat last night. So even though in the small chop, we're not going to get to play for a TOC seat. So I'm really the one that got bad beat, whether I won it or not.
Get the fuck out of here,
Thoughts and prayers, buddy.
Thank you.
Nobody cares. Work harder, Tambo.
Exactly. I don't. That's why I just moved on to the next slate. I was in the golf Discord right after that. Trust me. We're moving on to the next slate.
Good for you, man. Good for you, though. It's always good to see our boys here at RPS Shipping. It's always great. See, it's even better when our membership, because that just means what we're doing here works really well. So it's probably going to happen again this week. We've had some really good success through the first 2 weeks. If you're new to this show, we'll run down all the news from the injury reports today, and we're going to give you angles on how to attack the slate. And I think there's a ton of news that we got out here. So let's start, Tambo, Crane. Let's get into it, buddy. We'll start with Justin Herbert. Tambo, he didn't throw a single pass in the practice today. He says if he feels good enough, he'll play. I'm preparing for Chase Daniel. Really, this is going to affect the whole game, both sides of things with Jacksonville and the Chargers. So talk to me. How are we going to handle this?
Yeah, that's what you said. I think the line's already changed. It looks pretty clear to me that Herbert's not going to go. Didn't throw in practice today. He threw a couple passes yesterday. I was actually feeling better about him when I did my other show this morning because I'd seen video of him yesterday not looking as sort of gimped up on the side. He had it looked like he had motion to it. And then today that news came out. So definitely looks like Chase Daniel. You know, it's the Jags here. I'm guessing we're going to get maybe not quite the situation we had last week. It's only Friday evening, but by the time things spin around and he's announced, I think people will move to the Jags D. And that's just something where, again, you know, will they get enough opportunities to do it? And with the ownership and all that. So I don't see a lot here that I like because of it. So nothing really for me in this game that excites me. So I'm just going to move past it.
What about you, Crane? Can you dig something up here?
I mean, I don't hate Austin Eckler in this spot. I also think the Jags cover and I could actually win. But you know, Tambo nailed it. You know, the line moved from 7 to 3. Like Vegas is not expecting Justin Herbert to play. And you've got to downgrade these receivers. Like I'm not messing with Keenan Allen. I'm not messing with Mike Williams. Like
he's
Austin
50-50 too.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a situation that I'm either playing Eckler or not playing anybody. And the problem with Eckler is he's 8K. Like I'm having a tough time paying for Eckler in this spot. So I this is a game I'm actually going to enjoy watching, but I doubt I have a lot of fantasy exposure to it.
As we dug up this
two
morning.
More quick things, Holden?
Yeah, go for it.
Just two more quick things. One is that, you know, the defense side I talked about too, but the other thing is Everett here, I think we'll get a little bit of love because Chase Daniel's a backup. You go with someone like that. But then I saw today too, I believe Parham is going to be back. So I know that he's, you know, usually a little bit more of a blocker, but when you get down to the end zone, that can definitely take away from a guy like Everett. So I think that was, you know, one thing. And then the other thing is the pricing has went up so much on not to do with this game or these guys, but all these wide receivers, these tight ends, all the best plays that from, you know, the first couple of weeks have all got the price increases. So paying up for a guy like Eckler here doesn't seem as solid as some of those other options you can get. He should get increased work and dump offs, but you're still paying more when we've got receivers that are similar price points that are just in really good spots here. So that's the other reason I have a tough time doing it.
This will be the 6th game that Chase Daniel has started, if indeed he starts, in the first since 2019 when he was with the Bears. Also, Keenan Allen is legit 50-50. He says 50-50. So this could be an absolute debacle. But maybe you play the Chargers. Maybe you play the Jacksonville DSC. We'll figure that out. No?
I mean, I like Chase Daniel is one of these like dink and dunk guys. I'm not wrong here, am I? Where he's just not going to try not to make.
He's not going to stretch the field. You're right.
Yeah. So I mean, like guys
Sacks?
like that, I don't particularly like picking on. I mean, you get some sacks, but you win with defensive with touchdowns, as Tambo knows. Like this is just not a spot that I'm likely to go with even the defense here. It's just I don't know. I'm just not excited about it.
Yeah.
Straight fade. But let me ask you something about Christian McCaffrey then. Here, Crane, because McCaffrey is nursing an ankle. He did go out and practice 100%. He says there's no worry about that, but we know that he's frail at this point. Any hesitancy with McCaffrey, or would you just fire him up?
My hesitancy is that I don't like the matchup. He hasn't really been getting the usage that we're accustomed to. And last week I kind of said, I'm not sure the price is, I thought the price might've been a little low. He still only had 15 carries last week, like 5 targets. Baker's just not throwing him the rock as often as we would like. And I mean, yes, if he got into that box, like the box score would look a lot better, but I don't know that, they have an implied team total of 19. Like, am I really excited about the Panthers in this spot on a week when I want to pay up at wide receiver? Like, I don't think I'm in on McCaffrey either way. It has nothing to do with the injury issue.
Okay. How about you, Tambo? Just thoughts on McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested just for a couple reasons. One, the fact that, like I said, everyone's going to pay up at wide receiver, which I've got no problem with. I will be too. But in lineups that I'm not, I think he's one of the more interesting pieces here to go to. We haven't seen it yet. We're definitely hoping that it's third time's the charm. But when you do look at it too, I like some of the secondary stacks in that game. If you play a guy like McCaffrey and think he comes through, you can maybe try and finally pick up those air yards on Olave on the other side of that game for our boy Crane. You got Jawan Johnson, but like there's a bunch of injuries in that game too. I mean, it's all questionables and most of them look likely to go, but Winston, Kamara, Taysom Hill, I even saw like all these guys are questionable. I don't know who's actually going to be out. I would expect Winston and Kamara are good, but if Taysom Hill's out, you have a little bit more leniency there in Kamara and Jawan Johnson. So CMC with Olave or Jawan Johnson is my preferred choice at the moment for a secondary stack.
Crane, no doubt, unloaded the whole ball bag watching Olave.
I mean,
300
it's just
yards.
it's just unbelievable.
Emptied.
Like the dude,
Drained.
he got just so many looks, and it's exactly what I've been waiting for. 13 targets, 8,000 air yards, and he got like 12 fantasy points. It's unbelievable. It was tilting to watch as somebody who is invested in Olave, and I'm not going to shock you guys. I'm going right back to the well this week.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't really blame you after the usage that we saw from him last week. Like button would be great. Subscribe would be great. Bottom right-hand corner, little red button there. This show has been getting really good audiences. So thank you very much. And if you're watching and it's not live, you can still hit the like button out. Hit the like button. You can help us out here. So if J.K. Dobbins plays, Tambo, he's questionable again. He got in 3 full practices again. If he plays, you have any interest in J.K. Dobbins?
It's very early in the season to say this, but I literally might never play this guy. I just don't care about the situation. Like, again, I'm a Ravens fan, follow it. I just don't think, again, that's why I'm sort of getting after it too quickly here. It's only week 3, but my point is it's not just due to the injuries and the bounce back and what he's been at practice a few times, all this stuff. I just don't care. I just don't see the spot right now. Later in the season, there probably actually will be a spot that comes up, but right now, it's against New England. Belichick in the past has found ways to scheme against Lamar to at least keep him from a ceiling game. So whatever they're trying to do there, I just don't see it through this. I would play Andrews or nobody probably in this spot. So that, that's sort of how I see this game. Don't want anything to do with the New England side either.
You want to mess with Dobbins, Crane?
Nope. I'm kind of with Tambo here. It's like, I don't like playing J.K. Dobbins. He doesn't catch passes. He's going to get vultured by Lamar. Like, why are we messing with J.K. Dobbins? And just for the best ball bros out there, I don't understand why everybody was excited about J.K. Dobbins either. Like, I just want nothing to do with the dude. It's been like this for 2 years. I'm going to keep fading him, and it's going to keep being successful doing so.
Okay. Let's just stick with the Ravens. I know we'll do wide receiver in a little bit, but Duvernay has passed concussion protocol. He's going to play week 3. Either one of you guys talk about Duvernay. Do we want anything to do with him too?
We shook our heads in unison there.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah,
then let's move on.
Yeah. No thanks.
No worries. Tambo, DeAndre Swift nursing an ankle last week. He broke off one big run. Didn't have a great game though. He's still dealing with that ankle injury. Matter of fact, it was interesting because earlier in the week, he's like, oh, it's much, much better. And now there's reports coming out. He's still hobbled, but he's extremely explosive, isn't he? And you would think that the Lions are going to have to play catch up. What's your interest in Swift?
Yeah, I got to see what happens with them, but definitely more interest. I think this game is interesting from that perspective, the back and forth. You can overstack this game, whether you want to go with Goff or Cousins, that's up to you, but you can still mix them in running down that side. I know you're going to bring up Hawkinson here soon, similar situation where got to wait and see, but with Irv Smith, Jefferson, Thielen, Cousins, Dalvin Cook is getting some little bit of steam here. So you've got that on the Minnesota side. And then the other side, you've got these guys like you talked about. Swift definitely falls into that. So I have interest. It just depends on what the situation is, if he's actually going to play or not. But I definitely have interest in bringing them back in the game, even overstacking, using 5 guys from this game if you want.
Like it. Crane, DeAndre
Yeah,
Swift.
I mean, DeAndre Swift, if he was healthy, he'd be one of my favorite plays in this whole slate. And we just don't know what's going on with him right now. I still might play him. And this is kind of one of those spots where there's a lot of red flags, right? He's in a split backfield. He's hurt. Yeah. But the spot is just so good and he's so explosive and he's going to be so low owned at 7,200. And he could very easily go for 30 here. Like that would not stun me at all. And I like running it back. I'm not sure I'm going to overstack it, but DeAndre Swift, bring it back with Justin Jefferson on the other side against the Lions secondary. That's not great. Like, that's a stack I really like, and it's expensive, and not a lot of people are going to do it.
Yeah.
So that would be the running back portion of this show. If anything pops up for the end of it,
we forgot one. We forgot one.
Oh,
Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Yeah, he might be important.
Yeah, for some reason I just erased him. Okay, very good.
That's all right. That's okay. The Raiders, which they
thank you, because Zamir White might be a very popular punt play this week, right, Crane?
Yeah, look, if Jacobs misses this game and he's sick, he didn't travel with the team to Nashville today, and if he misses this game, Zamir White, I don't like using the term must play, but he would be pretty damn close to it because this is a team with a high team total in an elite matchup against the Titans, and White's going to look like he shot out of a cannon getting a start here if that in fact happens. I really hope Jacobs missed because I like free squares, and White would be. I mean, it would be really hard not to start my lineups with Zamir White.
Start them with Zamir White. Is that what you do, Tambo? It's going to be chalky.
I definitely have interest. I don't know if it worries me as much because I think it's more of like a third down back. But Bolden is still there. So, I mean, it's something to think about at least. And then the other side of it is too, I like a couple things in this spot, just staying on the spot in this game is Zamir White with the Raiders D. I know the left tackle is out for Tennessee, so you've got some opportunity there if they can get ahead, get the thing rolling, and then going up against a guy like Tannehill who does chuck the ball around enough to be able to make mistakes. I think that's an opportunity. And then also if you want to get off that and get to like a secondary stack in this game, Zamir White across from Treylon Burks to me is like a nice little secondary stack. Yeah. And who's that rookie holding Kyle? Who's Tennessee's rookie wide receiver?
Why are you
Kyle
doing
Phillips?
this? Burks, Treylon Burks.
No. Yeah, he is the guy we want. So who's the other?
Kyle the white kid, Justin, whatever.
I think it's Kyle Phillips, but my point would be
Kyle Phillips, the little white guy. Yes,
he's gonna. It sounds like he's out. I think I didn't see the final news on it, but if he's out, that also just adds just a little bit of extra targets to go around. He'd been getting a few there, so I'm okay with this little secondary stack. Zamir White with Treylon Burks. I kind of like that.
Yeah, Phillips kind of disappeared after a nice week one. But it is interesting. I think
he was banged up coming into that Monday Night Football game anyway, right? So
yeah.
No,
so we'll see. And I don't think he's playing. He's game time. I don't think he's playing personally. He also fumbled the ball last week. So I'm not as high on him, but there's no question we got to dig up some gems. So we'll look over there. Wide receiver. Let's do it, Tambo. Michael Pittman, good to go. Week 3 against the Chiefs. Fire him up. It's a great matchup.
Yeah, definitely good to have him back. To clarify the previous point, I'm saying I'm wanting Kyle Phillips to be out.
Okay.
I just those extra targets for Burks. I only like Burks in that spot. You could go to Bobby Trees if you wanted, but I like the Burks kid. I think that's going to be a good spot. As far
as Burks has way more upside.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. That's why I like him with Zamir. It's just when people are going to plug a free square, my point is I look to say, what's the next level to using the free square? You don't always need it, but if I can secondary it, or I can put it with the defense like the Raiders, I have more interest in using it that way than just plugging them in. As far as the Indy side goes, excited to have Pittman back. I actually think it gives us a spot here. I was talking a little bit about it today, and I think, it got me interested. I was talking to Mayo on his show. If you went like Matt Ryan to Pittman and just ran it back with Kelsey and just said, like, if Indy's like the thing about me and Holden, this stuff better than I do, the betting stuff, but I don't know if it's complete reverse line movement or if people just like that number at home, but usually 5.5 point home dogs, people like to bet. They started at 6.5. It seems like the numbers dropped to 5.5.
I bet it.
For Indy, people like this, but if that's the case and you truly believe in that, then you have to think it's going to be a good back and forth. I'm not sure if you're privy to this, but Patrick Mahomes is the thing, right? I think he's 7-0 with like 17 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions, an incredible passer rating. He's just phenomenal inside of the dome. So either the number in the line is a trick and Kansas City's going to pump them and pound them and Mahomes is going to go off, or it's going to become a game. And Mahomes' side is hard, but you can go like in higher dollars, smaller field stuff. You can go Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pittman, and it worked last week. Well, you wanted to have the Tua side of things last week with the double stack and Andrews or Bateman. Last week in higher dollars, smaller stakes, you could run Lamar, Andrews with one of those guys, Tyreek or Waddle, and still have a pretty good day. So I'm saying this week, you can go Mahomes, Kelsey, Pittman, or if you want to take it deeper in tournaments, Ryan, Pittman, Kelsey, and even add in like a Doolin or something like that if you want to in the larger fields where you think you need a little bit more ceiling to go with Ryan. Just
So here's a question for you though, because when I look at this game, you got to, obviously you got to think of what's the path to Team X staying close. So what's the path to the Colts staying close? Isn't it possible they just put it in Jonathan Taylor's belly 35 times?
It is possible.
I mean, because to me, if I'm the Colts, and they've been underutilizing Taylor earlier in the season anyways, Pittman coming back from injury. I like Pittman. I like the spot on the surface. But to me, if you're game stacking and if this game stays close, I feel like you got to do it with Jonathan Taylor because I just don't see any other way the Colts stay close.
I feel, though, on the other token, other side of that token is that kills the game completely. So I only want to build this game to pop off through the air versus Taylor just cuts the clock down. It could still be a close game and it could work. Definitely can work. I'm just saying you're paying a lot for him and it can slow the game down. I want it to pop off back and forth. So I only want to build for that. And if it dies and doesn't work and your plan is correct, it's going to work for your way. But I don't know if it necessarily is going to make it a must have when you've got this guy almost $10,000 at running back.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor at 9K, it's a tough pill to swallow right now because, last week he didn't even score double-digit points. So, like, it's tough to click that button at 9K. To me, though, if the Colts keep it close, it has to be on Taylor's back. I'm personally, at least right now, I'm planning on just fading this game completely. At tight end, I'm wanting to save some money. I'm not paying 9K for running back on this slate. And I feel like it might screw me because I don't see many 50.5 point totals. And I'm just like, no, thanks. I'm not interested in this week. That's kind of where I'm at with this game. It feels wrong, though.
It sells me more on the other way of what I was saying originally. Just go Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pittman and hope that it doesn't have to stay close. Then it could be Mahomes getting 3 touchdowns and then Pittman just picks up the targets on the way back. So good point there. And I definitely think that makes sense. I like it.
Just one note on this one. The Colts have given up an 87% completion rate to tight ends this season. So if you already liked Kelsey, now you should really like Kelsey. So I mean, this is a pretty good spot.
Okay, here, let me just say with Kelsey, okay?
Yeah.
I'm always going to like Kelsey. Like every single week, I think Kelsey's a good play. I just think that the value at tight end is better than the wide receiver value this week. So I'm more likely to take the tight end value and leave Kelsey on the table.
Okay. This could be a monster spot for Kelsey. I think a lot of people, I think this is where we're going here. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. The top-notch wide receivers have now become the top-notch running backs, like the guys who got to jam in there, right? So
and look, I understand that everybody has said that. Everybody across the industry is saying that this year. I want to remind everybody that we are kind of in this bubble to where just because people in the industry are saying it doesn't mean the masses have even caught on to that yet.
Also, though, to Holden's point, I think is a good one here is that, again, well, Kelsey's price did go up. It's what, 7,900 now?
Yeah.
It's like, that's still not 9,900 like Kupp. And what if he is like a wide receiver one? What if he is the dude you want this week instead and just use him in the flex or use him and use somebody else cheaper in the flex and count him as one of your high-end wide receivers and just play one of those lower guys? Okay,
so Kelsey 7,900, Tyreek 7,600.
I have
Stephon Diggs 7,700.
I have it for you. It's your version.
I'm ready.
It's Kupp and Juwan Johnson or Kelsey and Olave.
Oh man, you gotta throw Olave in there for me.
Good job.
I went New Orleans.
Good job, Tambo.
Wide receiver. That's pretty much exactly it.
Can I trade?
I'm taking Kelsey and Olave there though.
Can I trade? Okay, I probably am too. But can I trade Kelsey and Olave, or can I trade Cup for Jamar Chase and one of these like 4K tight ends?
I'm saying that's the exact example
well,
of the 2v2 where it's a high-end wide receiver.
Yeah.
A guy that, like Holden said, you basically can call him the high-end wide receiver, but even with tight end price increase, tight ends kind of capped for pricing. They're not going to make Kelsey $9,900. So it's Cup and Juwan Johnson or Olave and Kelsey. And I think Olave and Kelsey's better and has solid floor and good upside.
You're on a heater right now, so I can't argue against it. That's how that works.
Okay. I like that. I hope it continues through Sunday. So.
You just submitted?
Yeah.
I submit. I my flag right here.
Am I getting Kelsey at around 7%?
No.
Nope. I think so.
No.
Really?
It's Kelsey. He's never that low.
I'm not going to get him sub 10%.
But it's totally different this week because everyone is going to those receivers, right? So if you look at it here, now, what is this?
If Kelsey's 7%, I need to reconsider some stuff.
Well, I'm seeing less than 5% right now. And
What?
even if it goes up,
that's my dream.
He's almost 8,000, and people got to play Diggs, and they'll go back to the Miami guys. Like there's just and think about every wide receiver that's on this slate. We have Cup, Devontae Adams, Chase. You've got Jefferson. You name it. There's just so many guys there that people want to pound in that it could be a way to separate yourself a little bit and get those tight end points locked in. It's a onesie position, so it kind of makes sense where you can hit it up there and get your points that way. I do like it.
And look, I'm never going to say playing Travis Kelce is wrong. Never going to say that. It's just I'm stunned if he's actually 5%. I want to see that number on Sunday because if he's 5% and I don't play him, I've screwed up.
If he's sub 10%, I'm happy. Like when I play Travis Kelce this week, which I will, if he's sub 10%, I'm going to be a really happy guy. So we'll just say that. And listen, Crane, you could be right. We're in our little box here in the DFS industry, and we notice the wide receivers, and maybe Kelsey and Mahomes will be popular, but dude, it's looking like a nice week for him. Let's just keep rolling though. Hunter Renfrow out. I think Devontae Adams, here we go again. It's like Kelsey and Adams. It's going to be tough to get both of them in, but Devontae Adams probably in line for about 600 targets this week. I'm sure they go back to him. Even the opposing head coach is saying that. So talk to me here, Crane. Devontae Adams to me is already getting peppered, and here's even more. But does anybody else benefit? So we could have no Jacobs, no Renfrow.
I mean, even if somebody else benefits, like I can't click on Matt Collins or Tyron Johnson or Keelan Cole. Like I can't do it. I think if somebody benefits, maybe it could be Waller, who sees a few more of those intermediate targets.
Nope.
More no.
Okay.
That's right.
Justin,
look, Devontae Adams every single week, he's going to be a great play. He's 8.4K. Yeah, you got to spend up for him. But like these expensive receivers, as we've been saying all show, they're always going to be great plays. I actually think this makes Waller more interesting, though. And he's somebody that if Kelsey's 5%, Waller's going to be 2%. Nobody's playing Darren Waller at 5.8. So I think he's somebody that I'm going to have some interest in and will certainly be in my tight end player pool.
Okay. What about you, Tambo? Anything on this Renfrow news?
Feel pretty similar. Matt Collins is cheap. He's 3,300. He was already sort of their number two. So I don't really Renfrow, but then him, I would say he was already in the mix of those guys. So he, to me, becomes more the number two than trying to pick and pluck through the other guys that they have there. So I think it's interesting there. The thing with Adams is he dudded last week at a similar price point, right? He came out, got the touchdown, but I think he finished at 9.6 DK points or something like that. So going back to him here, when you've got Diggs right below him, getting all the ownership at 7,700. You've got Hill, you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, all those guys down below that are picking up the steam would be interesting. Again, all how you're building your rosters this week, how you want to construct them. And then, of course, to our original point back on Zamir at running back, if Jacobs is out, it's all but if Jacobs is out, Zamir White becomes the quote unquote free square. The way to leverage that is to then go put in Adams or a Waller, like Crane was saying. And if you're doing that, maybe you just put in Derek Carr and just run it back on the other side with Treylon Burks and just call it a day and get off the cheap running back in some of your builds there.
And that's definitely a way to be different. I think this Titans team is just so freaking bad. And like Treylon Burks is the only guy to have interest in. Like Derrick Henry, I'm just not even close to touching. It's just so hard for me to click one of these buttons in a tournament. I think the Raiders are going to blow them out too, which means that I'm going to have some interest in Raiders and I'm not going to be messing with the Titans.
So we got the Packers. We got a lot going on with the Packers. Matt LaFleur said Romeo Doubs is going to have to take more of a load this week. Phrasing. Sammy Watkins He's not going to be there. Back-to-back DMPs. Lazard's going to be active. Tambo, do we even want to mess with the Green Bay Tampa Bay game from a Packers standpoint?
Gosh, I keep going back and forth on this because it is Brady versus Rodgers. Like it's still, again, they're older. I get it and all this stuff, but neither of them have any weapons. So I'm trying not to go flip it everywhere, but to say the same game, because may as well talk about it as a game and we'll tie all the injuries into it, is that you look at it like the other side. Fournette might be the highest owned guy on the slate, if not one of them, at running back position. Everything, the matchup he has is good. I get all that. But the argument is really coming down to it's because they have no weapons and it's going to be Perryman week and all these factors. And then you go and look at it, and he is what this week? He costs 6,500. And so I see that angle, but couldn't it be Lazard is back now? But if you just see Green Bay going with it, like, couldn't it be Aaron Jones week? He's 7,400. Use him as the receiver because it's tough to run on them as it is. And again, you can use Lazard. You don't have to do anything here. It's not a game I'm looking to stack up. I'm just saying if there could be two decent quarterbacks that want to battle each other and go back and forth, I don't know. I think Romeo Doubs is going to pick up some steam here. Maybe
he's going to be a cash option, I bet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The cash guys are going to freaking love Dobbs.
Still Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. People are still going to get behind it. I'm just trying to look for a little bit of a way to be different. And I thought Aaron Jones is sort of in that middle road. He's getting like no ownership with Dalvin Cook, Mixon, Eckler, Swift, Fournette, all those guys around him. And he's been more like a wide receiver than a running back. So just a way to maybe think outside the box. Again, I don't know how much money I'll have to go there in these spots because you're spending money on receivers and tight ends. You're not going to be able to go for a pay up running back as well.
We can go to the other side too. So Cole Beasley could play this week for the Bucks. If you didn't know, hey,
Cole Beasley's
short
like
white
built,
guy for Brady.
He's built to play for Brady, man.
Double check it, boys, before you get too heavy on this. I don't even think he's in the player pool.
Good.
Well,
the less I have to worry about this game, the better.
Yeah, check and see. Maybe we'll get the email, but I know they brought him up, but I'm not sure if we'll get to play.
Do you guys have a lean on what's going to happen with Julio?
Well, he's a game time decision. So
yeah.
No way that's dude play. Come on, man. And if he does, he's going to get hurt again. So
I mean, and if he does, he's going to see a lot of Jair Alexander. Like I don't like this spot anyway. Like
everyone is listed as questionable. Gage is questionable. Perryman's questionable. Julio, Evans, and Godwin are out for suspension and injury. Like it's just a mess there, man. It might just be a stay away.
Beasley might be a play if they add him to the pool, though. I don't know.
Don't add him to the pool, please.
I hope they do.
I don't want to mess with this game. I don't want to mess with this game.
Holden, you remember last year, you know what? If they add Beasley, if they add Beasley to the pool and then Hoop gets on the morning wood talking about like he did Renfro that time and everyone's dogging him for it, then we know to play Beasley. Because remember, Hoop was talking about Renfro that time.
That's
and then
right.
Everyone said he was trash and you put up 30 that game. That's what we could see.
If I remember, the Tone Dog was not happy with the Renfro call. And Renfro kind of went off in that game. But what about Fournette then? Real quick, just talking about this game. Can't we go to Fournette?
It's really hard
in the box.
It's really hard to ignore Fournette. He's had over 21 carries each of the first two games. Yeah. He's seeing 3 targets a game. He swore he was going to get in the box for us. He apologized to his fantasy owners, which I appreciate. But we should be seeing some more dump offs from Brady, especially if they're basically out of wide receivers. Like it's at 6,500 too. He feels about $1,000 too cheap.
Yeah. Pittman's playing. We know that. To me, he's a cash game play and a tournament play, right? In that setup. And then Gabe Davis, questionable. So let's just assume, let's say he's out because it's trending toward he's playing, but let's just say he's out, Tambo.
He says he's playing, his own words.
He says he's playing.
J.K.
But a lot of guys say they're playing and they don't play. Yeah. So let's just
I believe him. I don't know why, but I believe him.
That he's playing. That's fine. Jerry Jeudy says he's playing. Davis, all these guys say they're playing. So if he's out, though, do we just what's the pantheon here? We just going Diggs, maybe McKenzie, just more Devin Singletary. What's the plan if Davis is out? And then what's the plan if he's in?
We tried to make McKenzie work on Showdown, and he saw 3 whole targets. No, it didn't. It did not work. But Jamison Crowder saw 2 targets. Jake Kumaro, though, he saw 3 targets. Like, I'm just playing Diggs, man. Like I know he's chalk and I just don't care. Like he's just the best play.
Yeah.
Tambo?
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. Basically, we like I said, Kumaro got the love last week, but feels like we're just trying to make a lot of things work where, Diggs is just the play. It's just he's going to pepper. He's going to get the opportunity. He is that good, and he's got the ownership for sure. But if you're going there, that's who you go with it. I think you just stack them up though, right? Play him with Allen, who's a bit pricey, but I don't know what his ownership's looking like as of yet, just to see like quick.
I don't think it can be too much.
It looks like somewhere sort of 12 to 15%.
Okay, yeah,
up there, and that'll be
absurd.
the combo. But you can get different with the rest of your lineup if you want to play.
Somebody explained to me, and I've asked a few people this, and they've all said, I don't know. Why isn't Tua chalk?
Well, people just expect they think that he won't be able to do the same thing.
I mean,
hold on.
He's against the
Timeout.
I got a timeout. Why do I get a timeout?
Because you're leading right into the defensive side of things because you're talking about Tua. Well,
I'm normally a host, Holden. This is
Dane
how I
Jackson
do it.
is out. Okay.
Yep.
Starting cornerback, Tre'Davious White still out. So you're down both your starting corners. You got a rookie in Kyer Elam who is going to start. You got Tyreek and Waddle there. Micah Hyde's out. So starting safety, defensive tackle Jordan Phillips out, defensive tackle Ed Oliver out. So you got your two starting defensive tackles, two of your starting corners, and your big time safety out. So you tell me why
Jordan
Tua
Poyer too, right? Poyer is another one that could be out.
Yeah. I mean, I just if I was running 150 teams, I'm not even kidding. I might just run 152 at teams. Like this spot is just so freaking good. He's too cheap by like $1,000. You know exactly who to pair him with. You know it's going to be a shootout because the Bills are going to put points on the board. You know Miami's going to throw the ball. They want to throw it anyways. Now they're going to have to be playing catch up with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I don't understand why Tua is not chalk. I don't get it.
Yeah. I think that's just what it is. I said this today too. Like of course he's not going to throw 6 touchdowns again, but what if he throws
I don't need
4?
6.
Yeah, that's my point. Like people just naturally go to this. We talk about it in golf where people are always like, oh, he gained 4 strokes putting today. He's fade him tomorrow. And then he gains 2.5 strokes putting and still crushes. Like, yes, he got way worse day 2, but you could have still played him. People just write them off for it. So I don't know. I think there's definitely a spot here for him. Like you said, it's easy to stack up. You know what it is. And like Holden did listed all those injuries, man, that's just a lot. So
it's a lot.
Definitely. And the other thing too, did you guys see this? Someone took the game last week and flipped him and Lamar, made Lamar left-handed, made Tua right-handed.
I missed
Lamar
this.
looked horrible. Even though the passes were crisp, it looked bad. And Tua looked awesome. It's just funny how that throws you off. I thought it was some incredible work. And if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely go check it out. Just type in on Twitter search Tua right-handed. He looks so much better. And you just don't think of him as such a bad passer when it comes down to it. So maybe that's it.
I'm glad you didn't tell me to search like to a righty video or something. That could have got really awkward.
You could
do think that. He uses his right, Craig?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
We'll move it back. Get on.
The more I'm looking at this, by the way, Romeo Dobbs is going to get fed.
He's also going to be about 30%. Like,
all right.
You want to mess. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm doing with Dobbs.
Well, 30%, I'm probably not going to have much of him.
Maybe 30 is a little aggressive, but I'll take the over on 20.
Well, he's cheap, right? He's less than 5K.
Yeah, he's 3,800.
Yeah, he's nothing. So maybe that's the free square. If you don't want to go white, you want to use a free square.
One last thing there, boys, that just got mentioned in chat. Our guy or girl rants, I don't know. But my point would be, I like that call, actually. You might be able just to play Green Bay defense up against Brady banged up. And the only reason I'm going that side, it's probably better to use Tampa D. They're better. But I'm saying when Fournette is going to be 30-ish% owned. And last week, Barkley was like less projected ownership and got to 40. So Fournette's projected for more than Barkley last week. He could get to 40 and should be in a better spot. But I'm just saying, if you want to leverage the spot, it is Tom Brady and no weapons and Fournette chalk. So to me, that would be an opportunity. That would be a possibility. So just my thoughts.
All right. We got one running back note that popped up here. James Conner, game time decision. Do either one of you have a lean on Williams or Eno Benjamin? Do you have any interest in either one of these guys if Connor's gone?
Not really. Like, I'm perfect. I hope Connor plays. That way I can definitely just ignore the spot because Connor's not the kind of running back I want to use against the Rams. And Connor did practice all week, so I expect him to play. And it's just not a spot I'm messing with. I'd rather play Marquise Brown in this game.
Anything, Tambo?
I like that Brown call. If Connor plays, I might have a little bit more interest just because the environment. But, at 6,200, that is pretty cheap. I liked him last week, though. Obviously didn't work out, didn't come through. But if they say he's healthy and he plays, it's a cheaper running back, not like one of the punt plays that we can go to, but it's cheaper guy. that still should be in a pretty good spot. I think him and CEH are both right there at 62 and 6,300, could have some potential just because of their game environment. And so I would look at it that way.
All right,
I gotta stop ignoring CEH. Like, it's just,
you do.
Like, I swore the dude off after last year, after just like 2 years of piling in on him in season long. And now, so I know. So like, I just have to take my medicine, I think, and start playing.
Me too. I fucking hate him. And then he comes out, he's had 2 good games. He's getting a ton of work in the running game and the passing game. He's finding the end zone. It's in a great offense.
Just bones me. Bones me every time.
Suck it up. We'll play him. Great stuff, guys. Again, congratulations, Tambo. Hey, hit the like button already. It's not going to hurt you, especially if you're not even watching live. Just do it. It'll help us out. We'd love it. Good mojo. Gentlemen, good to see you. We got some baseball coming up, probably in about 20 minutes from right now. We'll run down tonight's slate, unless you're watching this at another time. For Tambo and Crane, I'm Holden, and Helmet, please get us out of here.